Right now, in more than 40 states, hundreds of thousands of people are organizing against a building most of them will never see up close. It's not a factory. It's not a pipeline. It's the thing quietly running every AI tool you've ever used. By the end of this video, you'll know why this fight is happening, who's actually making money off it, and how you can position yourself financially before most people even understand what's going on. Let's start with the scale of this thing, because most people have no idea how big it already is. There are already more than 4,000 data centers running in the US right now, and roughly 3,000 more are planned or under construction. 6 major tech companies are on track to spend around $1 trillion combined on this build-out in the next year alone. Data centers already use about 6% of all electricity in the US. By the end of this decade, that could be closer to 11 or even 17%. One large-scale facility alone can use as much power as 750,000 homes. Now, here's where it gets personal for a lot of Americans. If you live in a state with a lot of data centers, your electricity bill has probably already gone up. In Virginia, electricity generation costs have spiked as much as 267% over 5 years. But electricity bills are actually just the beginning of what's driving people to organize. Let's talk about the parts that don't make the headlines as often. These facilities run 24 hours a day, every day, and that constant operation creates real side effects for the people living nearby. Diesel backup generators emit particulate matter linked to asthma and heart disease. One health study projects data center air pollution could contribute to over 1,000 premature deaths a year in the US by 2030. The cooling systems can produce continuous industrial noise loud enough to disrupt sleep for anyone nearby. And a single hyperscale campus can use millions of gallons of water a day to keep servers cool, which matters a lot more in drought-prone regions. There's also the land itself. The average data center site now covers roughly 224 acres. That's about 450 football fields, and that number has grown by nearly 150% in just 2 years. A lot of that land used to be farmland. Now here's where things get genuinely contentious, and where you start to see why trust has broken down in a lot of these communities. For years, the pitch to local governments has been the same. Give us tax breaks, and we'll bring high-paying jobs to your town. But the actual numbers tell a different story. A typical data center running on 2 to 5 megawatts of power usually creates around 30 permanent jobs. One proposed facility outside Reno was projected to create just 73 permanent positions after using 4,000 temporary construction workers to build it. Meanwhile, Virginia has given up close to $2 billion a year in tax revenue for these projects. Georgia's giving up $2.5 billion in 2026 alone. And a state audit there found most of those projects would have been built anyway, tax break or not. To be fair to the other side of this, some of these deals are genuinely evolving. A handful of cities have started requiring community benefit agreements, where developers commit in writing to specific things like clean energy sourcing, noise limits, and direct funding for local schools. That's a real response to years of communities feeling like they got promises instead of results. So how did we get here? And how fast is this actually moving? Data centers aren't new. They trace back to the rise of the internet in the 1990s, and the modern cloud computing model really took off around 2006. But what's happening right now is a completely different scale and speed. The industry is projected to grow around 14% a year through 2030, nearly doubling in size in just 5 years. To put that in perspective, the number of large-scale facilities being built over the next decade could be 10 times what exists today. And this isn't hypothetical. New mega projects are being announced constantly. Amazon has proposed a massive facility in rural Ohio projected to use over 30 times more power than the rest of its county combined. Google is backing a reported $10 billion data center campus in Kansas City. xAI's Colossus complex in Memphis has drawn scrutiny from environmental and civil rights groups over pollution in nearby neighborhoods. These aren't future possibilities, they're happening this year. So what happens next? This is genuinely split down the middle, and both sides have legitimate points. Tech companies argue the US needs this infrastructure to stay competitive globally in AI. That's a real strategic concern, not just a talking point. Local officials who approve these deals often say they're bringing economic development to struggling areas. On the other side, Residents dealing with higher bills, noise, and pollution have legitimate documented grievances, and more than 30 states have introduced over 300 bills this year trying to regulate this. Some cities have passed outright moratoriums. But the hyperscalers aren't slowing down. They're increasing spending, not cutting it. Community pushback is reshaping where these get built. It isn't stopping the build-out itself. Now let's talk about the part that actually matters for your wallet. Nearly the entire market benefits from this build-out, directly or indirectly. Real estate companies that own data center buildings, power and cooling companies that keep them running, utility and nuclear power companies supplying electricity, chip makers building the hardware inside. There are real estate investment trusts built around owning data center properties. There are infrastructure companies supplying cooling systems these facilities can't run without. There are utility and nuclear power companies signing long-term electricity contracts. And for people who'd rather not pick a single company, there are exchange-traded funds that bundle a basket of these businesses together. To be clear, this is not financial advice, and I'm not telling you to buy anything specific. This is genuinely risky territory. Interest rate changes hit this sector hard, and there's real debate about whether the industry is building faster than demand can support. The kind of thing that ends badly for people who buy in at the wrong time. So here's the actual takeaway. The smartest move right now isn't picking a single stock and hoping. It's understanding that power, not chips, not talent, is becoming the real bottleneck for how fast AI can grow. Whoever solves the energy problem controls the pace of the entire industry. If you're building a career right now, that's worth paying attention to. Energy, grid infrastructure, and the financial side of AI infrastructure are becoming some of the fastest-growing corners of this industry, and most students chasing AI jobs are only looking at the software side. If you want to actually understand this shift instead of just reading headlines about it, that's exactly what this channel breaks down every week. Subscribe and I'll keep you ahead of it.